We got a long agenda tonight. Really good to see everyone as we kind of enter into the holidays. We got a lot to cover. First, we're going to go ahead and get the prayer and pledge going. JP Hires, will you lead us in prayer and pledge?
Thank you. I was muted. I'm going to turn my video off for this. Please bow your heads. We pray tonight for guidance. Guidance to work together despite our differences, to do what is right for the people of Washington County. We pray tonight for your loving embrace for the 3,112 families who are mourning a loved one this holiday season due to the pandemic. Embrace the people who are mourning. Embrace those who are facing financial hardships. Embrace those who don't know where their next meal will come from. We ask that you humble us. Allow us to do what is right for the least among us. Help us to escape our egos and escape our labels so that we may serve the people with the greater good in our minds. In these words we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America
and to the
to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. JP Hires, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to Ms. Patty taking the roll. See who we have here today.
Susan Cunningham.
Here.
Patrick Deacon.
Here.
Sam Duncan.
Here.
Lisa Ecke.
Here.
Ann Harbison.
Here.
Suki Hires. I see she's here. Andrea Jenkins.
Says her mic's not on.
I see she's here. Lance Johnson.
Here.
Willie Lemming.
Present.
Eva Madison. Sue Madison.
Here.
Butch Pond.
Here.
Derek Thomas. Shonda Washington.
Here.
Judith Yanez.
Here.
Judge, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Patty. All right, we'll move on to item 4, preliminary motions. Are there any preliminary motions?
JP Madison.
JP Sue Madison.
Thank you, Mr. Judge. I move adoption of the agenda with all resolutions added to the consent agenda.
Okay, this is a preliminary motion. So is that to read everything by title, resolutions, ordinance by title only?
I believe that's a preliminary motion. I'll do that
Correct.
next.
Did I miss the agenda?
The agenda, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. JP Madison. I sure did. Adoption of the agenda. So go ahead. Say your motion again. I'm sorry.
I move adoption of the agenda with all resolutions added to the consent agenda.
Okay, we have an amendment to the adoption of the agenda to move all the resolutions to the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Ms. Patty, will you do the roll?
Butch Pond.
Yes.
Lance Johnson.
No.
Susan Cunningham.
No.
Derek Thomas. Judith Yanez.
No.
Patrick Deacons.
No.
Lisa Ecke.
No.
Did you say
No.
no? Sam Duncan.
No.
Shonda Washington.
Yes.
Eva Madison, Andrea Jenkins,
No.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming,
No.
and
And
Ann
we
Harper.
have no agenda.
No.
Have 4 for, and 9 against.
A motion to,
All right, so the amendment does not pass. We still need adoption of the agenda.
So moved. I move to adopt the agenda. Second.
Do we have a second? We have a motion to adopt the agenda in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we have the adoption of the agenda. All right, Ms. JP Madison, we're on preliminary motions. We have a motion for preliminary motions, any?
Okay, yes, I move that all resolutions and ordinances be read by title only.
Yeah, all right, thank you. We have a motion to preliminary read by ordinances by title only, ordinances and resolutions by title only. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second by, who's that, JP Duncan? All in
Yes, sir.
favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, preliminary motion passes. We'll be reading ordinances and resolutions by title only. Citizen comments. Again, at this time, we have citizens come and visit with us. They have allotted time of 15 minutes total. Each citizen will be limited to 3 minutes. When you're called upon, we ask that you come, state your name and where you live. If you'd like to speak, again, if you're on the call here, go ahead and raise your hand, and then we'll go ahead and recognize you. So at this time, are there any citizens who wish to make a comment?
Matt Mayfield?
Mr. Mayfield, you're recognized.
He's using an odor, or hold on just a sec. Promote him to a panelist. Okay, there you go.
Mac Mayfield, 980 Rocky Lane, Fayetteville. I wanted to comment on the treasurer's report from the budget meeting last week. He stated that revenues are generally up around 7 to 8% year over year. In September, without several events, was 10% increased year over year. It's really remarkable that our economy is that robust, but I'd like to recognize that there have been a lot of casualties for keeping our economy open. And I also understand that the county is receiving about $4 million from the federal government through the CARES Act. I ask that you remember the people who are rent and food insecure at these times, and that money go towards making those people safe and secure, and that we can keep the good work that many churches and individuals and charitable organizations have been doing. I hope the county can weigh in on that and help us out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayfield. Citizen comments. Citizen comments.
Beth Coburn?
Ms. Cover, you're recognized.
Yes, Judge Wood, thank you very much. Beth Koger, 3661 Embry Drive, Fayetteville. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm as informed as any community member could be, but I have a lot of concerns about the budget process this year. Last week, we were told to contact our JP with questions, and I did that, but there's been no response or even an acknowledgement. I contacted the Comptroller's office for detailed budget information and was told that it would be available tomorrow at 3:26 p.m. The budget control ordinance that will again be introduced tonight doesn't allow for the court or community members to properly examine county spending. It doesn't allow for discussions on particular budget items, such as where we might find savings that would not jeopardize people or services. I think it's less strict, especially as to examining detailed tracking of expenses. I haven't heard any discussion about why some of the 2020 line items are over budget. I'm sure most of those, or surely most of them, are COVID related, but not all. And I think that's very concerning that we're not talking about that. I'm also worried that with the proposed budget, the court might be underestimating the total effects of the virus. We had more cases today. We set a new record in Arkansas with COVID-19 cases. I'm glad that we're going to try to build our reserves, and that's good. But just because we've seen several months of increased taxes, or at least not declining tax revenue, I don't think that we should forget that no one knows when the economy or jobs are going to return to any kind of normal. Nationwide, retail sales fell in October and November from what were forecast. The Commerce Department said today that it will take a miracle to keep retail sales positive in December. Will things be different here in Washington County? I hope so, but we just don't know. Another concern I have is that people in our community are suffering and need assistance. I hear every day from someone who needs help with food and rent. It would have been good to hear ideas about what county services might be expanded or created to help folk with food, housing, and just basic life necessities, because there's a real need here right now, and all indications are that the coming months will be worse. Could we have found savings in the budget to provide those services and still build our reserves? I don't know, but it looks like from where I'm sitting that no attempt was made to do that. The number one job of the Quorum Court, as you know, is to oversee spending and be good stewards of tax dollars. With that authority comes a lot of responsibility. But with the budget process this year and the budget control ordinance that is proposed, from where I stand as a member of the community, I just don't see that the court has done due diligence or exercised best practices. Thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Coger. Some comments. Citizen comments.
No.
Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and move on to item 6, the approval of the minutes.
JP Sue Madison.
JP Sue Madison.
I move approval of the minutes, and I have read them.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by JP Harbison. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, the minutes have been approved. Item 7, judge's report is going to be relatively short because of all the other items, but I do want to I think Ms. Coger talked about the fact that we again still have increases in numbers and working with our elected officials, and JP Washington jumps in and jumps on. We do have a vaccine that has come out. I think yesterday Arkansas did receive theirs. But that still means that we have to still do due diligence, as it will be going through phases as to who is being inoculated first before it goes to our citizens at large, if you will. But the first responders, the medical community, obviously those essential, and they're working through that with the Department of Health and the state as far as how they're going to distribute those doses. I think Moderna has also come out today. The FDA is going to be approving their vaccination. So it's going to still be several months before I think our general population is there. I know the federal government has been working with the states, the communication that we're going to be getting out. They're going to be doing large campaign ads, promoting and communicating to those communities, especially hardest hit, in the language that they understand, to those local leaders to help them embrace the fact that the vaccine is available. But again, to that point, we have lost loved ones here in Washington County. And so as we head into the holidays, be conscientious, continue to wash your hands, wear your mask, do your social distancing, and be prepared when the vaccine comes, so we can kind of, again, meet the middle, slowly spread until the vaccination is more widespread. The county disposal report is in your packet. The federal audit for 2019 is completed. It's uploaded on the website. So if you go to our fiscal transparency page, you'll see our federal grant audit for 2019, which is done. The state legislative audit mailed our 2018 audit report to you guys earlier this year. I need to get verification that you guys received it. And if not, if you would send a note to Ms. Patty, so legislative audit can get that sent out again to you. But they would have sent the 2018 audit to you guys earlier this year. 2019 is starting to wrap up, and that one should be completed and mailed out to you guys in March of 2021. I have 2 board appointments for the Northwest Arkansas National Airport Authority. Tom Lundstrom, longtime business owner, entrepreneur in Northwest Arkansas. He came in probably a little bit before last year to complete a term on the board, and so I'm reappointing him. And then Mervyn Jebaraj from the university, the Center for Business Economic and Research Business Forecaster. I want to appoint him to the board. So I need a motion to approve those 2 to the Northwest Arkansas National Airport Board.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
JP Madison.
JP, Eva Madison?
Sorry, I can't find my raise hand button tonight, but I actually received some feedback on that there is a complete, almost complete lack of diversity on the airport board. Can you give me the, I know Mr. Lundstrom, but can you give me the background on the other individual?
Mr. Mervyn is Indian descent, so they're
Okay.
And he's of Northwest Arkansas. He's been around for a while. He does a lot of the business forecasts for the chambers across the state, working with the Walton Foundation, the Northwest Arkansas Council. So again, I think it's just a great fit for the.
Are you aware of how many women are on the board and how many African Americans or Hispanics are on the board?
The chair of the board is a female. In fact, we got 1, 2, probably three females.
So 1 out of 14 is a woman?
Pardon me? I think it's 3.
And it's 14 members?
I think it's 3.
14 members, so 3 are women?
It's 14, yes, correct.
Okay. So we have one non-white person and 3 women?
I just know we got about 3 women. Again, I don't appoint all of them, so. With
Well,
that,
but you appoint 2, right?
That's correct. That's
So-
correct.
Well, did you make any effort to try to appoint women or diverse candidates in your spots?
I did. All right, with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Thank you. JP Lemming had a great idea. He visited with me about getting a Christmas card to the fire departments and volunteer fire departments. And while I appreciate that, and I think it's a great idea, I wanted to make sure he circulated the card at the last finance and budget meeting, but I believe, again, everyone needed to be was not present to sign it. Would any of the JPs that's attending or on Zoom like to have Ms. Patty sign their name onto those cards to the fire departments or volunteer fire departments? Ms. Patty, can you see those and capture those names and add it?
Yes.
Okay, I think that was JP Madison. JP Johnson, did you sign it or you want it?
He signed it.
He signed it.
He signed. JP Pond,
He signed it.
JP Jenkins. Okay, JP Jenkins would like to be signed on. JP Cunningham?
I signed it.
Okay, JP Ecke?
Yes, I did.
All right, JP Harbison?
Yes, I've already signed it.
JP Eva Madison?
How am I supposed to sign it?
No, Ms. Patty will sign your name if you would like. Print your name.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, JP Chandra Washington?
Yes, please add my
Okay.
name.
And JP Yanez?
Yes.
And JP Hires?
Yes, please.
Thank you. JP Lemming, thanks again for sharing that, bringing that. The last one I just want to share is we got some employees preparing for the holidays, obviously, and some are retiring. And so I want to extend our thanks to them on behalf of you, the elected officials, to those employees for serving Washington County. And thank you guys. Thank you for your service to Washington County, to you and your families. And we wish you well. And again, thank you for serving the citizens of Washington County. With that, let's go ahead and move to item 8. The first one is a resolution to express the appreciation. Council, will you read that one by title only?
A resolution to express appreciation of Washington County To Susan Cunningham for service as a justice of the peace for Washington County.
Move approval.
Second.
We got a motion to approve the resolution in a second. Is there any discussion by the court?
No, she can't go. There's much protest, they don't want her to leave.
JP,
Thank you, Judge. Susan Cunningham, you are a wonderful person to be. You add a joy to your atmosphere and to your weather, and that's what you've brought to this court. In the short period of time that we've gotten to know you, you're smart, you can be tough, but you're also amicable. And I respect you and I admire you, and I wish you all the best, but no, you can't go. We appreciate you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
any other comments? All right, we're going to go to public comments. Any public comment? JP Jenkins?
I just wanted to say that Susan, I very much enjoyed working with you and inside and outside of court. So it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
JP Yanez?
It's been an honor to meet you, and I can't wait to be friends outside of this now. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other comments? Public comments? Any public comments? Well, JP Cunningham, thank you very much for again, your service to your district, but then more importantly, being on the county quorum court and serving the people of Washington County. Thank you. All in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that resolution passes. Item 9, Counselor, would you read that one by title only?
A resolution to express appreciation of Washington County to Derek Thomas for service as a justice of the peace for Washington County.
JP Thomas is not here today. He's got 2 young boys who needed, he had to stay home with, but I again want to thank him for jumping in and being appointed and taking on the reins and serving. Do we have a motion?
I move approval.
We have a motion by JP Madison, a second by JP Harbison. Is there any discussion? Any discussion, any public comments? Any public comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that one passes. Item 10, we have to do those by roll call, those this fine.
This is fine.
Okay. Item 10, Council, will you read that one by title only?
A resolution to express appreciation of Washington County to Judith Yanez for service as a justice of the peace for Washington County.
I move approval of the resolution.
We have a motion by JP Madison, Sue Madison to approve, a second by JP Jenkins. Comments? Court comments? JP Cunningham?
I agree. It's been great getting to know Judith and can't wait to be friends outside of court.
Excellent. JP Jenkins?
I appreciate so much JP Yanez's heart and what she puts into her work in the community already. And I just know that she's going places and whoever she encounters are going to be so blessed by her and inspired. So Judith, you rock. Thank you for being a friend.
JP Washington?
Thank you, Judge Wood. I would just like to say to JP Yanez that it has been a pleasure to serve with you. You are one of the most thoughtful and thorough people that I know. And I echo your sentiments that I really look forward to being able to develop a friendship with you outside of the court. So good luck to you in all of your future endeavors. And it has been a pleasure.
Any other comments?
JP Yanez.
JP Yanez?
It taught me one of the biggest lessons in my life.
Rewind, we missed the first
Okay.
part. You want me?
This court taught me one of the biggest lessons in my life. And I want to thank my Republican colleagues actually for this lesson. You taught me how to step back and really actually listen to what people are saying, where they're coming from. We all come from different backgrounds, different lived experiences. Some of us have not experienced working with Latina, you know, and so I appreciate you for respecting me and treating me with dignity, even though we sometimes do not agree. And it's one of the lessons that I will take with me forever in everything that I do. It's just stepping back and really listening to where people are coming from and try to find that middle ground to really work together to improve the lives of others. So thank you so much for that.
JP Deacons.
Thank you, JP Yanez. JP Deacons.
JP Yanez, I want to thank you for getting a chance to get to know you. Before all the craziness with COVID happened, we were seatmates and you were always very pleasant. I think you've served your district with dignity, honor, and respect, and I have a lot of respect for you. I've learned from you, and I look forward to our paths crossing again in the future. So I appreciate you very much.
Any other comments?
Yes,
JP Pond.
it has been an honor to serve with you, Judy. And I learned much from you. And I know we'll be seeing you. Thank you for serving.
Any other comments? Public comments? Public comments? Again, JP Yanez, thank you very much. Again, obviously I've spent a lot of time around the county, and no matter where I am and what I'm doing, somehow someone ends up bringing you up, and you've already made the contacts and made the communications, doing the work out there. So again, I appreciate you serving the people of Washington County. All in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that resolution passes. Item 11, Council, will you read that one? Title only.
A resolution to express appreciation of Washington County to Andrea Jenkins for service as a Justice of the Peace for Washington County.
Move approval.
Second,
We have a motion by JP Harbison, a second by JP Pond. Comments?
JP Eva Madison.
JP Eva Madison and then JP Harbison. JP Eva Madison.
I'm not sure my connections are working that well, but I want to express appreciation for my seatmate, who I've thoroughly enjoyed working with and getting to know. And we will remain friends, so don't go far. Thank you for your service.
JP, I think it was Harbison. And then JP Washington.
Congratulate Andrea. She's one of the few new JPs that got out and talked to her constituents. She talked to the rural fire department. She talked with the public defenders. And I really appreciate her doing that because it gave her a different perspective when she went to vote on issues. Thank you for being involved. Thank you, Andrew.
JP Washington.
Thank you, Judge Wood. I would just like to say to JP Jenkins that it has been a pleasure to serve with you. I don't know if I've ever met anyone with a heart for service the way that you have. You have served the constituents of your district well, and I admire you for asking the tough questions. I admire you for being thorough. I admire you for always being concerned about the people in your district. And I also admire you just for persevering through everything that has happened. And watching you do that has also given me strength and courage to stand against things. So I just want you to know that you have served your district well. And I appreciate you. And I look forward to also being able to be your friend now that we don't serve together as colleagues.
Who's that?
JP Hires.
Okay. Thank you, JP Watson. JP Hires.
I just want to say thank you so much for being my seatmate on the right in the before times. And I have learned so much from you and watching you. And I'm also so thankful that I have made a lifelong friend. And so I just really appreciate everything you've done. Thank you.
Comments? Any other comments? Public comments? Any public comments?
Sure.
Who does?
Judith.
Judith, JP Yanez?
Yes, sorry. Or not sorry. So JP Jenkins, thank you for being my single parent scholarship fund sister in this ride. You know, single mamas stick together, but I admire you for always seeing adults like kids. And I say this because no matter what came at you, you always had that heart to forgive and see that kid inside of people that were hurting. So I pray for your healing and moving forward with that resilience and keep loving with that heart.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Got me in tears.
Any public comments? Sherry Main. Sherry Maines?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead. You're recognized.
Okay, I just want to say thank you from my heart deeply to Andrea. She not only served her constituents in her district, but she also stepped up to the plate to serve District 7 at a time when we needed someone to step up to the plate for us. And I can't thank her enough for that, for listening, even though it wasn't her constituents in her district. But she had a heart to serve. She saw a need. She saw people needed to be listening to, and she was there to listen. And I just thank her from the heart for all of her service to the Quorum Court. And I want to also thank the rest of the ones who served that are going off. All of you, I've watched the Quorum Court meetings since they've been on Zoom. And I followed closely along the agenda, and just like I was sitting with you guys, and it's been a trip. I'm telling you, it has been a ride, Andrea. And I know we're friends. We'll continue to be friends. And I just thank you for your friendship, and thank you for your caring need and your big heart. Thanks so much, Andrea.
Well, if I can respond, I'm so happy to have met you in your in your spirit through all of this. So thank you for being a citizen that's paying attention.
Any other public comments? Okay, again, JP Jenkins, I thank you for serving Washington County. And we got, I think, 3 teachers on the court. And I tell you, I have a heart for teachers. My mom was a teacher, and to have the invitation to come and spend time with your students, that was one thing. But to watch how the students interact with you and the other teachers who jumped in, and you, again, I appreciate your service to Washington County. Thank you very much. All in favor of the approval of the resolution?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that resolution passes. Item 12, Council, will you read that one by title only?
A resolution to express appreciation of Washington County to Sue Madison for service as a justice of the peace for Washington County.
All right, we have a motion of the resolution we have a motion to approve the resolution?
I move we approve the resolution.
Second.
Second by, who motioned? I couldn't get the motions.
Me.
Oh, you don't motion yourself. All right, we got a motion and a second by Eva Madison, JP Eva Madison.
Yes.
Comments?
May I make a comment, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you,
JP
Mr. Judge.
Sue Madison.
I'd just like to say that I have appreciated working with all of you all. And I would appreciate even more if you have any comments that you would just email them to me. I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, comments to be emailed to JP Madison. Now, if you guys choose not to, that's JP Eva Madison.
I guess I have her email address, so I'll email her. But I'm going to say one thing. It's been the honor of my life to serve alongside my mother, and I'm going to miss her. But I'll see her tomorrow. So.
Any other comments? Anybody else is going to not mail them to email them? JP Eki?
Thank you. I'm glad I've been on record saying of Sue Madison, she's a big heart. She has a heart for people. She has a heart for her family. First time I met Sue, I asked her, do you love your country? Yes. Do you love your family? Yes. I said, then we're not that far apart because I love my country and I love my family. And that was the first year that we worked together. And she is a big heart. All the best to you and your family, Sue. God bless you. Thank you.
JP Jenkins?
Thank you. Sorry, Sue. Just real quick, I'll email the rest, I promise. I just want you to know that I admire you so much and I've appreciated your leadership and your guidance and your strength and your support. So much support. You are a wonderful, wonderful woman. And I'm so lucky and blessed to have had the opportunity to work with you. I'll email you the rest.
Comments? Comments. All right, public comments.
Sherry Main.
Sherry Main.
All right. JP Madison, Sue, I've got to get a word in. I'm sorry, but I just want to say thank you. Well done. You are a good and faithful servant to the Quorum Court. You have been. And I just wish you well, good health in your retirement from the court. And I just hope that you have all the time to do things that you want to enjoy and just live life. And the rest of us will still be here fighting the hard issues. I know you have been a fighter and you're not afraid to touch the hard issues and comment and say something about them. And I know the other ones on the court will continue to do the hard work. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for your service. Sue, you will be missed.
Public comments. Any other public comments? Well, again, JP Sue Madison, again, thank you. Our time working down while you were down at the state, you served the state as in public service, and now the years of service here to the county. Again, thank you for serving the citizens of Washington County and the people of Arkansas. With that, do we have approval for the resolution? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that resolution passes. Item 13, Counselor, will you read that one by title only?
A resolution to express appreciation of Washington County to Ann Harbison for service as a justice of the peace for Washington County.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by JP Pond and a second by JP Eki. Comments?
Willie Lemming.
JP Pond and then JP Lemming.
I'm going to say, I believe that we have served the longest number of terms on the court together. You've almost been on here as long as I have.
Yeah, almost.
But, and I really appreciate the thought that you put into it, the hard work. And I might have made a comment earlier that your experience as a school teacher, being able to put up with a bunch of rowdy kids, kind of helped you deal with us at times. But I don't know how to tell you how much I appreciate the the hard work you've put into serving the people of Washington County, and there's a lot of it before you ever got on the court. The things you've done, developing programs, diversion programs at JDC. I believe you got recognized for that statewide, maybe a time or.
Oh, I don't remember.
I thank you for that, and I do want to say, besides that, you know, it's been a privilege to be able to get to know you now, and work with you like I have. And also, I'm going to add the other folks that are going off of the court. I'm really glad I got to get to know you and work with you some before this COVID thing struck. Just a wonderful bunch of people. And thank you all for putting up with me and being able to serve with me. Thank all of you very much. Thank you, and
Thank you, Bud.
honored to know you.
Other comments? Let's go with JP Lemming and then JP Washington.
I just want to tell Ann that she's just as stubborn as I am, and I appreciate what she did for us, and I was very, very glad to get to work with Ann. She is a good lady. She's got a good heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
JP Washington and then JP Eki.
Thank you, Judge Wood. I would just like to say to JP Harbison that it has been a pleasure to serve with you. I do appreciate your heart for the county because it is evident that you are committed to Washington County and that you love this county. And so I just want you to know that your efforts did not go unnoticed, that it is something that should clearly be evident to every JP that is sitting on this court. So I wish you all the best. We will miss your insight, we'll miss your wisdom, we'll miss your guidance, but definitely know that you did make a difference on the court, and I've enjoyed serving with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, JP Eki.
Boy, this is going to be tough. I'll try not to break up. I've been thinking about this for over a week, and I said A is for this, and N is for this, and N is for this, and I admire you. And one thing that was evident when I first met Ann Harbison was that she always had placed the county first, above party, above individuals, above arguments. If it was good for the county, she was steadfast in moving in that direction and passing that ordinance. I sat next to her for 4 years, and I think one time when we had somebody, a department head, who was lying to us, and we all knew it, and I almost went ballistic, and you see a hand go into the video and kind of pull me back down and say, calm down. And I took a deep breath, and she kept me from embarrassing myself. But I believe helping improve the lives of others is what Ann Harbison has done. She's invested in the next generation, not only with the 4-H and those youth, but she invested in the students that she taught. And now there are many who are county employees who walk into the jail service and they go, I'm Ms. Harbison. Yeah, I taught him. Yeah, I taught him. Yeah, I taught him. And you've got children all over the place. And because of you, you've left your fingerprint, which is unique and individual to you, on this county. And there's no way any of us could ever forgive you. But I have to say, N is for now Ann. Where did you put your cell phone? Well, Lisa, I think I put it in the refrigerator. Why? Well, it was ringing and I was just there, so I put it in there, but then I forgot to get it. So Karen Beeks had to come down and get her cell phone out of the refrigerator because she forgot where she put it. And then another time she missed a meeting, and we were all concerned because Ann never misses a meeting. And I think it was Charles Ward said that there was a rock concert just on the other side of the Arkansas-Oklahoma border, and it was her favorite group. And Sheriff Helder said, well, if I have to do an APB, we will. Where's Ann Hardison? And we missed her. That's how committed she was to attending. And it was a family gathering or something. She was not in jail anywhere. She feels great.
I think I forgot. I don't know. I can't remember. I remember the incident though. So
Yeah.
thank you for your kind words.
But I call her up every once in a while just to check up on her. I'd hear that one of her steers got out of her, heifer got loose, and she's trying to find them. She's a tough lady, and but with a sweet, kind heart. I'm gonna miss you, and I love you, dear Ann, and we all do. And God bless you, and we wish you the best.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Public comments? Any public comments? Treasurer Hill, Bobby Hill?
Hello, can you hear me, Judge?
Absolutely. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to all the outgoing JPs, it's been my privilege working with each and every one of you, and I'd like to thank you all for your service. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Bobby. Any other public comments? Well, again, JP Harbison, thank you for, again, your service to clearly all these students who are now workers in the county. I mean, you're right, the JP Ecke, there's so many people that has been in your classroom that you've taught, and now they're working, and now you probably taught their kids and grandkids, but we're citizen-centric in the county is one of our core values, and it's about the entire county, and you really do keep the whole entire county, as I think Judge J.P. Washington talked about. It's always at the forefront, and I think it's pretty evident. And you can't ask for anything more than that. You're on the county quorum court, and you think that. So again, thank you, J.P. Harbison. With that, all in favor of passing of the resolution?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, and that resolution passes. Thanks to all you JPs who are outgoing. Thank you guys very much for your service to Washington County. Thank you. All right, item 14, unfinished business. Council, will you read that one by title only?
An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the Planning and Zoning Board for 62 Motor City.
JP Lemming.
Judge, I'd like to postpone this, and the reason why I talked to the mayor today.
Whistle Bridge, gets to that.
Can you hear me?
One more time. Go ahead, JP Lemming.
I would like to postpone this because in the part of the paperwork, he's got to put a privacy fence up, and he's already selling used car parts at the salvage yard on the internet, and he don't even have a CUP yet. And the mayor is really concerned that it's just going to turn into a junkyard that's wide open, and I would like to get back with Nathan and the planning commission, so I'd like to postpone this.
Do you have do we have to have a time date? So is that tabled to the next?
Yeah, let's just table it.
Well, we have to have a table till, we have to have a date or a date certain. So is that the next quorum court?
Yes, let's table it to the next quorum court, so I'll talk to Nathan and see if we can't get the gentleman to get the fence up or let us know what he's going to do.
All right, so we have a motion to table this one until the next quorum court. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, they'll be tabled and moved on to the next quorum court meeting in January. Item 15, Council, will you read that one by title only?
An ordinance changing the title of juvenile caseworker to juvenile detention officer in the juvenile detention center budget for 2020.
JP Pine.
We've had several meetings and discussions on this. It seems like, and basically, I don't think there's anybody on the court that doesn't know what this issue is, and the title is self-explanatory. I move to pass.
Second.
This is on its third and final reading, a motion to pass by JP Pine, a second by JP Lemming. Is there any discussion? JP Eva Madison.
My question is, since it's December 17th, what the effect this is if we amend the 2020 budget?
Say it again. What impact will it have on the 2021 budget?
Well, no, the ordinance is only to amend the 2020 budget. And so given that we have so few days left in 2020, I mean, this applies to the next one as well. I'm trying to figure out how that has any real impact.
How would that impact?
It's typically the
Go ahead, JP Pond.
We have Mr. Watson present. He might be able to come forward and answer some of the questions. I assume this was already worked into the 2021 budget.
Well, how would we know that about the 2021 budget?
You guys, it will probably be retro back and then amending the 2021.
Well, what do you mean retro back? Like we're going to pay
Whatever the
someone in
date is,
arrears?
effective date that you guys passed this.
No, they usually go back to the date that it was initially.
I don't know what the date is on there that it was passed out of the committees, that they presented that. And then obviously you guys will be looking at your amending your 2021 budget.
Well, now I'm even more confused because if we passed it today, it wouldn't have an effective date before today.
Historically, when y'all have done these ordinances that have gone to 3 readings, it's always been retro back to the first day that it was introduced. That's just historically how the county's handled it.
What's the legal precedence for that? I mean, if we enact something as the legislative body today, how does it have a retroactive impact?
And that's why, again, I was saying that that's what we had done. So we would have to go and look and see.
Yeah, but what's the legal basis for y'all to have done that? That's concerning.
Not a y'all who have done that.
It's just us.
The court's done this retroactive since as long as the 4 years that we've been here. This has been the policy that the court has always voted and it's always been done.
We can go and look and into that and see if there's anything illegal, improper.
I don't think anything we can do can be made. I mean, that's very concerning if we're voting on something now and that it's being implemented on a retroactive basis without our knowledge. I think that it would have to be stated in the ordinance that the intent was to make it retroactive. So, well, I think that we shouldn't be amending the budget in the last 2 weeks of the year. These changes should have come through as part of the budget discussion. They should have been robustly discussed in the budget, and we shouldn't be having to deal with issues like this that might have effect for a week and a half. That's just not the way we do budgeting items. So, and then to sort of single out individuals in certain departments for raises is not the way we should be doing things. So I'll have to oppose this. Thank you.
JP, was that Washington? I thought I saw a hand.
Public question.
Any other discussion? Yes. We got public comments. Public comments? No public comments. All right. Ms. Patty, will you go ahead and take the roll? There was a motion and a second. The motion was made by JP Pond, second by JP Harbison.
JP had her hand up.
JP, which one?
No, I rather.
Go ahead, Ms. Patty.
Judge Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Deakins,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan,
Yes.
Chandra Washington,
No.
Eva Madison,
No.
Andrea Jenkins, Andrea Jenkins,
No.
Suki Hires,
No.
Sue Madison,
No.
Willie Lemming,
Yes.
Ann Harbison.
Yes.
I have 9 votes for and 5 against.
All right, that ordinance passes. Item 16, Council, will you read that one by title only?
An ordinance changing the title of janitorial person to janitorial trainer / floor technician in the buildings and grounds budget for 2020.
JP Pond.
Move to pass. Second.
We have a motion by JP Pond, second by JP Ecke. Is there any discussion?
I'll let you do it.
Any discussion? Public comments? Any public comments? Ms. Patty, will you take the roll?
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Dickens,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan,
Yes.
Chandra Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison, Eva Madison,
No.
Andrea Jenkins,
No.
Suki Hires,
No.
Sue Madison,
No.
Willie Lemming,
No.
and Ann Hardison.
Yes.
I have 9 for and 5 against. Passes.
Okay, that ordinance passes. Item 17, Council, will you read that one by title only?
An ordinance setting controls for the 2021 budget.
JP Duncan
I move to pass item number 17.
is on his third and final reading. Move to pass by JP Duncan, second by JP Pine. Any discussion? JP.
Second by JP Deacon.
JP Deacons, I'm sorry. JP Madison.
Thank you, Mr. Judge. This ordinance, to begin with, it's calling itself budget controls, but I don't believe it is budget controls. But what really disturbs me is there are 6 co-sponsors on this, and we don't know how they got to be on there unless there was some kind of violation of FOIA. Therefore, I'll be voting against this ordinance because I think it was illegally brought before us. Thank you.
Thank you, JP Madison. JP Ecke, and then JP Eva Madison.
Thank you, Judge. In response to JP Sue Madison's comment, that is not true. And we have reviewed this since this ordinance was first proposed. So it's been 3 months, 4 months. There's not been a FOIA violation. And to be accused of FOIA violation by every one of us that is on there is insulting us and the citizens we represent. So I'm going to ask you to keep those comments to yourself, and we have already discussed this. There's nothing else that we can say. Thank you, Judge.
JP Eva Madison.
Thank you, Judge. I've turned off my video because I'm having trouble with video, so I apologize. My concern remains that the math is incorrect in this ordinance. I know that some have said, well, you have to carry out the decimal places, but the bottom line is that the ordinance that's presented to us does not carry out the decimal places. This is not a proper, it's not proper math-wise. In addition to that, nothing about this approach has been novel. Simply taking the budgets requested and converting dollars into percentages and saying that we did something miraculous is sort of a joke. So we need to do better than this. And we're going to have to pass the budget tonight anyway. And so I don't even know what the purpose is of doing this. So thank you.
Thank you, JP Madison. Any other comments? JP Johnson.
Move the previous question.
All right, we have public comments. Public comments. Ms. Patty, will you go ahead and take the roll?
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Eric Thomas, Judith Yanez,
No.
Patrick Deakins,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan,
Yes.
Shonda Washington,
No.
Eva Madison,
No.
Andrea Jenkins,
No.
Suki Hires,
No.
Sue Madison,
No.
Willie Lemming,
Is the road department budget in this?
No, it'll be in the
Okay.
budget.
No.
and Harbison.
Yes.
I have 7, 4, and 7.
8 again. Fails.
What did you have, Ms. Patty?
7, 4, and 7 again.
And 1 absent, it fails.
Okay, so 1 absent fails. So that does not pass. That ordinance does not pass. Item 18, council, will you read that one by title only?
An ordinance appropriating $1,308,438 from unappropriated reserves and various funds to various budgets to compensate for the 27th pay period for county employees.
Again, this is on the third and final reading. JP Harbison.
I move to pass.
Second.
We have a motion to pass, a second by JP Pine. Any discussion? Any discussion? Eva Madison? JP Madison?
Thank you, Judge. I just wanted to say that we need to reward our employees and let them know that they're going to be paid in the next 2 weeks. They're worried, and we need to give direction to our county employees to get this payroll processed. We've dragged it on long enough. The COVID money has come in, so if there were any fear we couldn't afford it, we can. And I don't know how we can't afford it this week, but we can afford it in 2 weeks. So we just need to get this done, pay these people so that they can have a good Christmas and New Year's.
Any other comments? Any public comments? Any public comments? Ms. Patty, will you go ahead and take the roll?
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
No.
Susan Cunningham,
No.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Deakins,
No.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan,
No.
Shonda Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison,
Yes.
Andrea Jenkins,
Yes.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming,
Yes.
and Harbison.
Yes.
I have 10, 4, and 4 against, so it passes.
All right, that ordinance passes. Thank you, Ms. Patty. Item 19. Item 19, council, will you read that one by title only?
An ordinance anticipating additional revenues of $1,129,349 in the DEM grant fund and appropriating the amount of $1,129,349 from the DEM grant fund to various Homeland Security budgets for 2020.
This is only on the second reading, so unless there's a motion to suspend the rules and move to a third, it's only on the second.
I move that we suspend the rules and put it on second reading.
Third.
Third reading.
Second.
Third. Well, we have to do the second one first.
Third, and I'm seconding your motion.
It's already on second, so there's a motion on the floor to move to a third and final reading, a second by, I didn't get who, JP Lemming. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All
No.
right, so Counselor, will you read that one by title only, third and final?
An ordinance anticipating additional revenues of $1,129,349 in the DEM grant fund and appropriating the amount of $1,129,349 from the DEM grant fund to various Homeland Security budgets for 2020.
I move that we pass this ordinance.
Second.
You got a motion by JP Harbison, a second by JP Pine. Any discussion? JP Madison?
I
Eva
think,
Madison, I'm sorry. JP
yes,
Eva
I
Madison.
think several of us have asked what this is going to be spent for. And that's why it's been held up, and no one has given that information. So I can't support taking in $1.1 million in federal funds without having any idea how we're going to use it. So.
All right, JP Eki.
That seems to me, Judge, an argument that for all the years that we've been accepting a DEM grant fund, it's always been for the same thing. And so prior years, I believe that it was always passed without argument or debate. That's what grants are for. It's federal dollars returning to Washington County, so that way we don't have to raise taxes. That argument, in my opinion, doesn't hold water because it's been going on year after year after year, and if there was concern, it should have been raised then and at the midnight hour. It seems irrelevant and should be nullified. Thank you, Mr. Judge.
JP Jenkins.
Thank you, Judge. JP Eki, you stated that that money's always been used.
JP Eki. JP Eki.
Point of order.
Point of order. All right. What's the point of order?
Point of order. The justice should address the chair and the judge and not the JP. Thank you.
That's correct. That's correct. JP Jenkins.
I apologize. Well, Judge, I was just wondering, since we just heard that the money has always been spent on the same thing, if we could get that clarified, because that was just said that the money's always been spent on the same thing. So I'd just like some clarity in that.
Thank you, JP Jenkins. JP Lemming.
Judge, the funds must be used for teams and items related to preparation and response to terrorism. That's what this grant was filled out for.
That's correct. But JP Johnson. Thank you, JP Lemming. JP Johnson.
Move the previous question.
Any public comments?
Sarah Moore.
Sarah Moore.
Hi, Sarah Moore, Fayetteville, Arkansas. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I can't morally let this continue to march forward without mentioning it once again, that these kind of grant monies have a wide variety of purposes that they can be used for. And I agree that there was mentioned by some JPs in this discussion tonight that sometimes on grants we do the same thing over and over again. But I think whenever we get new information within our community, when we're suffering through a tremendous pandemic, where every single day I have multiple individuals coming to me needing rent assistance, not being able to get enough, food for their families. The language of this grant, if you read it, does allow for pandemic relief. And so I would really like to challenge us on going back and looking at revising what our request is for this grant money. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah Moore. Sherry Main, you recognized.
Yes, Sherry Main, 15574 Riches Road, Fayetteville. And I want to also echo what Sarah Moore said. This isn't the first time hearing this. I mean, it's JP Madison brought this up before, and on the spending, I'm sure that it's earmarked and they have the money spent when they receive it. They know what it's going towards. And this is an unprecedented year that we've had COVID-19. And I'm understanding from some from information I've been watching on the new stimulus package, there's going to be more money coming in in that area. That's going to be coming for Homeland Security and other purposes. So that's going to be available for the counties, the states to distribute and use in the counties. So I'm just saying there are suffering people out there that don't even know where they're going to feed their kids tonight. And I think we need to, all of you need to be good stewards, and you need to look at this money that's available and instead of just earmarking it for something, it needs to be to help the citizens of Washington County put food on the table and pay their rent. That's where the need is, and that's where the help needs to go. That's my opinion. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry Main. Any other public comments? Mrs. Colbert?
Yes, thank you, Judge Wood. I know I've spoken about this a lot and I feel like no one's listening to me, but I want to say just because we've done things in the past doesn't mean it's a good way to do things, and it doesn't mean we should continue it. One reason that questions are coming up now is because we've had citizens who have been concerned and who have done a lot of research and presented it to the court. And I know that that money can be used for telephones, like for the communications equipment that the sales tax is paying for. I know it can be used for cell towers. That's spelled out in black and white in the notice of funding. So I would like to just say that also what Sarah Moore said, that about that we need to not just take, there's no free money. There's no such thing as free money. It's our tax dollars, where it's coming from the federal government or it's coming from our county government. And I would like to see that we use that money to help our people, to help the people who need it the most. But also, I just wonder if anyone knows on the court knows that $200,000 of that money is going to buy, here's just one example, first aid kits. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Mrs. Colbert. Any other citizen comments? Ms. Patty, will you go ahead and take the roll?
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Deakins,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan,
Yes.
Sandra Washington,
No.
Eva Madison,
No.
Andrea Jenkins, Andrea Jenkins,
No.
Suki Hires,
No.
Sue Madison,
No.
Willie Lemming,
Yes.
Ann Harbison.
Yes.
I have 9 for and 5 against, so it passes.
All right, that ordinance passes. Thank you, Ms. Patty. Item 20 is the consent agenda. Council, will you read those consent agenda items by title only?
Yes.
Or by ordinance only?
Consent agenda item 1 is an ordinance changing the title and grades of various positions in the Circuit 3 budget for 2020. Item 2 is an ordinance anticipating revenue totaling $1,846,000 in the Crisis Stabilization Unit Grant Fund and appropriating $1,846,000 from the CSU Grant Fund to the other professional services line item in the CSU Grant Fund budget for 2020. Item 3 is an ordinance recognizing revenue of $217,852.20 in the Center for Tech and Civic Life Grant Fund and appropriating said $217,852.20 to various line items in the Election Commission and County Clerk budgets for 2020. Item 4 is an ordinance recognizing and appropriating revenue in the amount of $88,292.71 in the Road Department budget for 2020. And item 5 is an ordinance appropriating $3,220.62 to the Buildings and Grounds budget for 2020.
Move, we pass the consent agenda items.
Second.
We have a motion by J.P. Harbison, a second by J.P. Pond to pass the consent agenda items. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any public comments? Any public comments? Ms. Patty, will you take the roll?
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Dickens,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan,
Yes.
Chandra Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison,
Yes.
Andrea Jenkins,
Yes.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming, Willie Lemming,
Yes.
Ann Harbison.
Yes.
Ordinance is passed.
All right, ordinance number 20 passes. Item 21, a resolution. Council, will you read that one by title only?
A resolution of the Quorum Court of Washington County, Arkansas, certifying local county government endorsement of Steel Yard, Inc. to participate in the Consolidated Incentive Tax Back Act of 2003.
JP Deacons?
Yes, if you read the letter, this is a established steel company in northeast Arkansas that's looking for expansion, and they have chosen to come to Springdale. They're going to bring 12 full-time jobs with annual salaries over $500,000. These are well-paying jobs, $22.50 an hour. I'd like to say welcome to Washington County and move passage of item number 21.
Second.
We have a motion by JP Deacons and a second by, I didn't get who?
Harbison.
JP Harbison. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any public comments? Any public comments? Ms. Patty, will you take the roll?
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Dickens,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan,
Yes.
Chandra Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison,
Yes.
Andrea Jenkins,
Yes.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming,
Yes.
Ann Harbison.
Yes.
This resolution passes.
All right, the resolution passes. Thank you, Ms. Patty. Item 22, Counselor, will you read that one by title only?
An ordinance approving an interlocal agreement between Washington County and the cities of Elkins, Elm Springs, Farmington, Fayetteville, Goshen, Greenland, Johnson, Lincoln, Prairie Grove, Tawnytown, West Fork, and Winslow for continuation in the Washington County Regional Ambulance Authority.
This is on its first reading. So again, if there's no motion to suspend the rules and go to the second, it'll just move on next month to the second reading.
I move to suspend the rules and take the second reading.
Second.
There's a motion by JP Duncan and a second by JP Lemming, JP Pond. All in favor of suspending the rules?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, Council, will you read that one for title only?
An ordinance approving an interlocal agreement between Washington County and the cities of Elkins, Elm Springs, Farmington, Fayetteville, Goshen, Greenland, Johnson, Lincoln, Prairie Grove, Tawnytown, West Fork, and Winslow for continuation in the Washington County Regional Ambulance Authority.
Move to suspend rules and have a third and final reading.
Second.
There's a motion by JP Pond, a second by JP Ecke to suspend the rules for a third and final reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Council, will you read that one for a third and final?
An ordinance approving an interlocal agreement between Washington County and the cities of Elkins, Elm Springs, Farmington, Fayetteville, Goshen, Greenland, Johnson, Lincoln, Prairie Grove, Tawnytown, West Fork, and Winslow for continuation in the Washington County Regional Ambulance Authority.
JP Duncan.
Where does this ordinance title read? This is simply a continuation of our current services. It's with Central EMS. I move that we pass.
Second.
Motion to pass, second by JP Washington.
And Harbison.
JP Harbison. Discussion, JP Washington.
Yes, I just have a question as a point of information. This has the word AND instead of the word AN. So I don't know how to proceed from that. Like, it's probably just a typo, but I don't know if it needs to be corrected.
Are you looking in the ordinance? Where are you?
Yes, on item 22, an ordinance approving, it should be AN, interlocal agreement, but it has AND.
Scrivener's error.
Where it is.
Right in the first sentence.
It's in the first sentence, an ordinance approving, it should be an interlocal agreement, but it has the word AN.
Mine has an.
Mine has an, and so it may, I have an.
Just a script.
Oh, do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Scrivener's error?
Okay.
I believe the actual ordinance in the packet has an.
Okay.
Okay, well, in my packet, it just, okay. I just wanted to be sure.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Any public comments? Any public comments? Ms. Patty, will you go ahead and take the roll?
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Dickens,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan,
Yes.
Rhonda Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison,
Yes.
Andrea Jenkins,
Yes.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming,
Sure.
Ann Harbison.
Yes.
This ordinance passes.
All right, item 22 passes. Item 23, council, will you read that one by title only?
An ordinance establishing minimum standards of habitability for residential rental property.
JP Sue Madison.
Thank you, Mr. Judge. Members, we have heard this ordinance, proposed ordinance, twice in County Services Committee. I want to remind you, it applies only to residential rental properties. And when there is rent being received. Now, next week, if somebody in Washington County wants to let Joseph and Mary use their barn for free, this ordinance would not apply. Our county is growing considerably with new people moving here every day. Most of them are probably going to be renters. They're going to be tenants in Washington County, and they probably won't have a lot of choices. The rental market here can tighten up considerably, and it is fairly tight right now. That shouldn't put their lives at risk, and it shouldn't put their children's lives at risk. And let me remind you, children don't choose where they live. Yet it is children that often suffer the consequences. We've had 2 cases in Washington County of tragedies where children were killed. And I want you to stop for a minute and think of the responders, our emergency personnel who are out there on the scene when this is happening, and they can't get to those children and end up removing bodies from that calamity. And the toll it takes on our emergency responders when they have to deal with that. All this would do is establish some minimum standards. And it's outlined, and it's very, very simple. An operable smoke alarm. These have to be operating when the tenant takes possession. Now, next week, when the teenagers take the batteries out of the smoke detector, how would the landlord ever know that? But at the time they take possession, there has to be a working smoke alarm, an entry door that you can get in and out of that isn't obstructed. A door, this is the important part. A door or window exit to the outside from every sleeping room. That is the critical part of this ordinance. A source of electricity. Landlord doesn't have to pay the bill. A source of drinking water and a wastewater connection. So there's sewage. Source of hot and cold water and glass or clear plexiglass covering all windows, a source of heating. We are the only state out of 50 that has no minimum standards for rental property. And I want to let you know that with the growing situation we have here with short-term rentals, which have no regulation at the current time, there's all kinds of things that people are renting out. I have known of situations where people were renting out a backyard shed, a basement, where the only way to get to the basement is up to the stairs into the main part of the house, but yet these short-term people are living and sleeping down in this basement where they have to go up the stairs to get out. So if there's a fire on those stairs, that's not a pretty picture. Sleeping rooms should have access to a way to get out, to get to safety. And our first responders and emergency personnel know that. And it grieves them, I'm sure, when we have tragedies. Washington County is better than this. We want to treat our newcomers and our visitors appropriately and help them enjoy our county safely. I'll try to answer any questions, but we have been through this before. Thank you.
All right, JP Madison, this is on the first read, so we'll just move on to the second read next month unless we suspend the rules and move it to a second for discussion.
I'd like to suspend the rules and move it to second reading.
We got a motion to suspend the rules and move to a second reading. Is that
Second.
And a second by JP
Hires.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Oh.
Ms. Patty, do the roll.
Butch Pond,
No.
Lance Johnson,
No.
Susan Cunningham,
No.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Dickens,
No.
Lisa Ecke,
No.
Sam Duncan,
No.
Sandra Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison,
Yes.
Andrea Jenkins,
Yes, and thank you, Madison, JP Madison.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming,
No.
Ann Harbison.
Abstain. Doesn't make a difference.
Move on to the second reading at the next meeting.
6 for, 7 against, and 1 abstention, and 1 absent.
And so that will move on to the January meeting for a second reading.
Correct.
Item 24. Also, will you read that one by title only?
An ordinance to establish the Washington County annual budget for the calendar year 2021.
JP Harbison.
All right, we need to go on and pass this ordinance tonight so that we have a budget. All of those things, all of the budgets will be in this. The minimum that was established in the controls budget will be the minimum budgets for each of the county officials. So all of this has already been established. The road budget's in this, the jail budget's in this, the raises in this, the 27th pay period will be in this. So everything is in this budget and we need to pass it tonight. I move that we pass our 2021 budget.
Second.
JP Harbison.
Yes.
Go ahead, Council.
I just wanted to advise the court, there have been several things that y'all have passed since this budget was first given out and discussed. And so any of the items that you've already passed for 2020, you would need to amend this budget to include those amendments in the 2021 budget because this budget came out before those. And so this budget doesn't reflect those amendments, but you could do that with a simple voice vote.
All right. I make an amendment that there's things that are not in the budget that we added. And also we had some items that elected officials had left out of the budgets that they added later, a line item. This was in the collector's budget. I think that's the only one. So all of these items need to be added to the budget. And you should have had a copy of all of these. All right, so, okay. I make a motion to add the amendments to the present budget, 2021 budget.
Motion to amend.
We've got a motion to amend the budget for 2021. A second. Do we have a second? Do we have a second? JP Eki? And by voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Those
My
opposed?
hand up. I'm sorry, I've had my hand up.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't see. I'm looking for you. JP Eva Madison.
I don't have any idea what we're being asked to vote on. It's not in our packet. It's not in the packet we got last Friday. It's not in the packet that was mailed to my house. It's not been displayed on the screen. I don't know how a motion is proper if we don't know what the content of it is.
This information has been passed out.
But where is it tonight? It needs to be before us tonight. I mean, there's a fundamental problem when we're being asked to vote on an amendment and a budget that we don't have in front of us.
We have the budget and we
don't.
have those amendments. You have seen those. So, you know, I don't see that that is a valid argument.
Well, I learned a lesson that I don't vote on a budget unless it's right in front of me because people change stuff.
Well, I don't think anything has been changed.
Well, I'm not going to take your word for it because I will vote on what I have in front of me.
Okay.
And right now, all I have is 24.1 that is 3 pages long.
Okay, Brian, will you address this, please, from the legal standpoint?
Well, all I'm saying is there were certain ordinances that were passed since the budget went out in August. And those ordinances state that there are changes, and you passed some tonight, that are changes for 2020. Because those changes occurred after the budget went out, you never amended the budget to include those changes in the 2021 budget. So you don't have to do that, but all those changes that you made, any of those salary increases or change in names and titles that you may have made will all revert back to what they previously were come January 1st of 2021. And so all of those things were done by ordinance. Some of them you have in front of you tonight because they were, you voted on them tonight. Some of them were just voted on in previous quorum court meetings since August.
JP Harbison and then JP Jenkins.
I may have confused the issue on some mistakes because these were corrected back in September. So those have been voted on. Thank you.
JP Jenkins.
Thank you, Judge. I just wish that we had been given some sort of a review of, I mean, it's been months now, a review of what all we're talking about that we are going to amend. I feel like we need to see that in front of us. So I won't be able to vote on this unless I'm able to look at it in front of my, you know, or if I was given a copy, but I wasn't. So just wanted to say that's why I'm going to vote against.
JP Sue Madison.
JP Sue Madison.
Thank you, Mr. Judge. It seems to me as if staff was aware that we passed ordinances that affect this budget for next year, the appropriate thing would have been for them to be before us tonight. So we would know what all is encompassed with these previous things that we now have no idea what all they were. I find it really kind of shocking that we're being asked to vote on this with amendments in it that nobody knows what they are, unless you have really, really good memories. Thank you.
JP Yanez and then JP Pond.
Okay, first question. I want to make sure, is this the last item on the agenda?
No.
Committee reports.
We have two more, right? But okay, because I know we still have questions and issues with certain budgets. And so I don't know what's going on with them. And so they're now all being lumped into one, and we have questions still. So I don't know what the proper procedure is here. This is new to me.
Okay. JP Aki.
I think Jake Pond had his hand up before I did, so I just want to make sure that he doesn't have a comment before I do.
JP Pond and JP Aki.
Each one of these items that's gonna cause a change in the original proposed budget were talked about individually, presented individually, and we voted to pass them individually. And I don't want any of the onlookers, members of the public, to believe that none of those issues ever came before us or were never discussed, because they have been. And to simply amend the original budget to include all those things that we've already discussed and already voted on and already approved, to have a preview of them tonight, I expect that, unless I'm misunderstanding, that's what some individuals on the court are asking for, to rehash that, which I just believe that's just causing a stall to create somewhere or other, set this budget back and just cause a little more confusion. I don't believe any of these folks are quite as confused as they let on like they are. And anyway, thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, JP Pond. JP Aki.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, all this information has been available on the website of all the amendments and, or not amendments, but title changes have been on the website, because we've been discussing this for at least the last 3 months. And I agree with Justice Pond saying that these item changes passed, and we all have individual input. And I think at this point in time, I know this court has been accused of, by the public, not doing due diligence and not knowing what we're doing, which I take exception. And for those who are utterly confused, you had an opportunity, knowing that this is coming before the court today, to do your homework, teachers, and to know and be informed and educated. Close your mouth. Educated to what was going to happen.
Inappropriate to call out members of the court like this.
And taking offense.
JP Jenkins, JP Aki, stay your comment.
Judge, so for one who's been accused of not doing due diligence and not doing our homework, I say your homework should have been done. You knew this was coming up.
Point of order. This is inappropriate to criticize fellow members of the
What's your point of
body.
order, Ms. JP Madison?
I said
my point of order is that it's inappropriate for a JP to call out and criticize other.
JP Aki, we got a point of order. Go ahead, JP Madison.
You do not.
JP Aki, can you mute?
Can't, because they're in the courtroom.
JP Aki, will you hold JP Aki? Go ahead, JP Madison, your point of order.
Thank you, Judge. I just think we're getting a little out of line in our comments. We can disagree without being disagreeable, but to call out specifically people who are teachers and say they didn't do their homework, that is not civility. That does not comply with Robert rules. And I would ask that JP Aki keep her comments in line and respectful.
And if I
thank you, JP Madison. JP Aki.
Yes, sir.
Final word. What's your final comment?
There's teachers on the board, they understand. It was a point of
JP Eki, do not.
Could you stop?
Stop, JP Eki. Stop. JP Washington.
Thank you, Judge Wood. My question is there a budget on the website that has everything that we've already adopted that reflects that? And if that is the case, since we're on Zoom, can we do a screen share and get someone to pull that up? I'm definitely not prepared to vote. I didn't receive my packet until today and I had the assumption that there would be the full budget for us to review. So yeah, I do apologize for not doing that in advance, but if it's available, is it possible that we can at least get that pulled up on screen share so that we can have something to look at? I think everyone would agree that it's very prudent for us to get the budget passed, but we do need the tools necessary in order for us to do that. So if we could just stop with all of the other extraneous stuff, if it's possible for us to get something to look at so that we can get this business conducted tonight, I would appreciate that.
JP Washington. But no.
Patty, so Miss Patty emailed the changes out with the finance and budget agenda on December the 4th. It listed all the changes that have been made by ordinance that all of you should have received.
Except for what would have gone on tonight. JP Madison.
I was
Eva
gonna
Madison,
say
I'm
that-
sorry.
Thank you, Judge. I think the concern is that we're being asked to vote on them tonight from a budget that didn't pass out of the committee. And so those changes were never discussed. But I would just offer, I'm agreeing with JP Washington. If people here did their homework and are prepared and can go over these, have at it. Tell us what they are. If you are ready to vote on them, enumerate them for us so that we know what we're being asked to vote on.
Thank you, JP Madison. Council, will you walk through the amendments that were passed out to the JPs?
Mm-hmm. Versus in the circuit clerk, there was position 0102012, domestic relations specialist, pay increase to $38,480 per personnel status change notice from Finance and Budget Committee. Circuit clerk position 0102004, bookkeeper, criminal/juvenile court, pay increase to $39,229 per personnel status change notice from Finance and Budget Committee. Circuit clerk position 0102006, which is vacant, so pay decreased to starting pay grade for grade 12 at $28,372. Circuit clerk position 0102006, field at $29,952 by transfer from position 0102008. Recorder's cost fund per ordinance 2020-53, change title and grade for position 0128013, which is computer/data administrator. Position 0128013, computer/data administrator, pay increase to $52,479 per personnel status change notice from JSAP committee. Recorder's cost fund, position 0128004, land records coordinator, pay increase to $42,640 per personnel status change notice from Budget and Finance Committee. In the Circuit Court 3, position 0403023, social worker, grade 18, to juvenile probation officer, grade 15, title changed, grade and salary reduced to grade 15, $32,095 per ordinance 2020-64. Circuit Court 3, new hires for positions 0403014 and 0403023 at $32,095. Collector overlooked including $12,000 for line item $1,005 overtime in their budget originally submitted. Collector automation, collector overlooked included $25,000 for line item 1002, part-time salaries in their budget originally submitted. Animal shelter position 0308002, veterinarian technician / patient transport coordinator, grade 14 to kennel supervisor, grade 14, title change per ordinance 2020-63. Footings and ground position 0108005, new hire at $14.90 per hour per PCN.
Change notice, personnel change.
Oh, personnel change notice. Judge's budget was reduced. The county judge's emergency budget was reduced from $500,000 to $75,000 via the Budget and Finance Committee. JDC position 0444001, 1 year anniversary, 3% raise per a personnel change notice. JDC cost of living adjustment raise for position 0444027 to $27,165. Planning Department cost of living raise for position 0110003 to $36,234. Those are all the changes.
Those are all the changes. JP Sue Madison and JP Eva Madison.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Judge. I was just curious about what happened with the road department budget. As I recall, it didn't pass.
It did. JP Eva Madison.
So actually, the road department budget was ruled in committee to fail, and once that committee adjourned, that was the ruling. So you can't undo a Robert. Those items that Mr. Lester read off, what is the total budgetary impact? What's the dollar amount?
I'd have to add it up. I don't think I have it all here.
We're tabulating. JP Harbison.
I just want to make a comment about the road budget. It was 6-5 and 2 abstentions, and our parliamentarian wrongly ruled on that because the 2 abstentions in a committee meeting do not count for no votes. Because this was not, we were not voting on a particular ordinance. We were just voting to move the budget, the road budget into the budget. It did pass. Thank you.
I don't know that I can come up with the monetary because I don't know what these changed from and to.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how we pull the impact piece if we don't have the.
I don't have the total amount because I don't know what these changes on most of them, what they went from to what they went to know what the difference is.
Is Shannon Worthen on tonight?
No, he has surgery tonight. So as we stand, you guys got the amendments. We have a motion to approve with the amendments. Did we get a second? A motion to amend, I'm sorry.
Include these.
To include those. Did we get a second?
Yes.
We had a second. Is that voice?
Yes.
Is that voice? Yes. All in favor to accept the motion with those amendments? All in favor? Those opposed?
No.
No.
All right, the motion passes. All right, so now we have a
Call for
motion.
a roll call, please.
Ms. Patty, will you go ahead and take a roll?
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
No.
Patrick Deacons,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan,
Yes.
Chandra Washington,
No.
Eva Madison,
No.
Andrea Jenkins,
No.
Suki Hires,
No.
Sue Madison,
No.
Willie Lemming,
Yes.
Ann Harbison,
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. So now we have a motion to approve the ordinance as amended.
We'll need a motion to approve as amended.
As amended. So we need a motion for that one.
Approve.
We have a motion by JP Pond to approve budget as amended, and a second by JP Johnson. Any discussion? JP Eva Madison.
Thank you, Judge. So just to clarify, we're being asked to vote on a budget that we don't have and that we don't know the overall changes of the amendments that we just passed. There's still so many questions remaining. We spent our entire budget process talking about a percentage-based ordinance that failed tonight. So I would say that our budget productions were pretty unproductive. And I just simply, it's sort of a principled matter now that I cannot vote on something that I can't see. And I've been given documents that said they've been edited. What's on the website doesn't necessarily match what's come out in our packets on occasion. And that troubles me because I don't want to vote on something and then in 3 weeks be surprised by what was in it when the news actually comes out. So I think we have to be better at this process than just winging it, which is apparently what we've done. So thank you, Judge.
JP Yanez and then JP Yanez, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just have a question on procedure. So the road department was a hot topic. There's a lot of questions still left unanswered. Procedure queen, because I always feel like procedures keeps us ethical, keeps us transparent. And I think where my issue lies here ethically is that there is a question of money usage of the person of the role that precedes this court, which is the judge's office. And the investigation that was conducted by the judge's office. So then the quorum court was not able to ask questions. And I think our obligation, our power lies on being sure those funds are spent in a way that are first safe for the public because we didn't get permits for things. And so when those funds are allocated, we're telling our constituents, we're trusting the elected official. But when it's the elected official's office that is in question, what procedure does the county have to conduct a neutral investigation so the quorum court can ask questions? And that's what I want to bring up because I feel that that wasn't done. We still have questions. And I don't know if there's a procedure in place for this.
Thank you, JP Yanez. JP Pond.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge Wood, for recognizing me. I'd like to, other questions that have been asked reminds me that the state audits us annually. And earlier in your report, you brought that up. And so I completely understand someone might be concerned about whether there's some kind of issue about something not being ethical or whatever like that. We're being overseen by the state on those issues, and as far as whether what we're doing is ethical, there's actually an ethics commission, and that's part of the state. And they oversee us for that. And we've got all kinds of state agencies overseeing what we do. And occasionally we even have people on this court kind of call those agencies and turn us in for, you know, where we turn ourselves in for what we do. And, I just want to tell you, I appreciate your patience with us, and I believe we've done due diligence, if that's the way you say it. So thank you for my time.
JP Akey.
Thank you, Judge. I do believe in the Arkansas JP manual that we all have. There are legislative powers, duties that we as a quorum court have under the Constitution, and then we also have limited powers. And one of those limited powers is a quorum court cannot declare an act of felony, sure, and we may not participate in the day-to-day administration of the county executive branch offices. What we do is we are the fiduciary body. We appropriate tax dollars to the elected officials. We're supposed to fund county government. Nowhere in here does it say you're supposed to restrict, control, or determine who gets what part and who does not. We are to fund, that is our duty, to fund county services and county government, and we're not to interfere. There are other processes, other departments, as Justice Pond outlined, that oversee and govern that, but that is not the quorum court legislative authority. So with that, thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Call the question.
We call the question. Public comments.
Sarah Moore.
Sarah Moore.
Hi, this is Sarah Moore. Sorry, my kid's in the background. I had it up from earlier. I was struggling too. The public, at the time you guys were talking about what was being able to be viewed, the public just couldn't see the revisions as well. So that's why I had my hand up. So thank you.
Thank you, Sarah Moore. Public comments.
Beth Koger.
Ms. Beth Koger.
Yes, thank you, Judge Wood. And I'm sorry, I've forgotten to give my address the last couple of times. Beth Koger, 3661 Embry Drive, Fayetteville. The only discussions that I've heard on about the budget, I mean, detailed discussions, has been the changes to the budget. But maybe y'all know this already, but the actual budget on the county website is dated September 30th. And I was told up-to-date information would be available tomorrow. But has anyone actually seen the final numbers that you're voting on? And shouldn't the budget be brought up to date with final numbers, even for the community, especially for the community to see before you vote? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Koger.
Sherry Main.
Public comments.
Sherry Main.
Ms. Sherry Main.
Yes, Sherry Main, 15574 Riches Road, Fayetteville. And I'm looking at the budget, the last budget that was available to print, to follow along with you as a quorum court. And this one was dated, and then it was dated 9/1/2020, and then updated through 9/30, through the end of the month. And I've watched all of the Budget and Finance Committee meetings and have followed along. And the water is muddy. I don't understand. Nothing is crystal clear. And I don't understand why this has to be so hard. If you have a budget to pass, and there have been questions and have been certain things unanswered or vaguely answered, that the constituents have asked their JPs certain questions on and have brought to the attention of the Quorum Court by emails that have not been answered. I just feel that to be good stewards of our Washington County tax dollars, which paying all of you to sit there tonight to make these legislative moves and choices and decisions, that you need to be educated. Some, I guess, as teachers may be more educated than some others sitting on the board that may not be teachers, and they may have done their homework a little better. But for the ones who did their homework better, why don't they enlighten the other ones of exactly what's being voted on? If they're so sure of themselves of this vote, I think it needs to be brought to the attention of the other JPs as to exactly what you're voting on, exactly what the dollar amount is. It's changing the budget that's printed and currently available on the website for all of the citizens to see. That's all we have to go on. If we call, we don't get any information. It's just public information on the website. Well, I've looked at all of the websites almost on the county website, and the majority of them have not been updated. Some even go back and still have the same letterhead of the previous judge on the letterheads. So everything is not updated on the website. You can't depend on the information from the website to be the current information. And with that said, I would think that all of the JPs would be up to speed on this. And for those that are up to speed on it and seem to have all of the information, they should share that.
All right, thank you, Ms.
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Mays. Thank you. Any other public comments?
Not a motion to approve as amended.
All right, Ms. Patty, we have a motion to approve as amended. Will you take the roll?
Judge Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
No.
Patrick Deakins,
No.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan,
Yes.
Chandra Washington,
No.
Eva Madison,
No.
Andrea Jenkins, Andrea Jenkins,
No.
Suki Hires,
No.
Sue Madison,
No.
Willie Lemming,
No.
Ann Harbison.
Yes. Judge Wood?
So that motion does not pass.
All right, Judge
JP
Wood?
Harbison.
I make a motion that we meet tomorrow night, and cost the, county another $10,000, and have Shannon Worthen here to have all the figures that everybody's asking for. Or we can re-vote
JP Worthen
tonight.
won't be here. He had surgery today. But go ahead. So the motion is to have a meeting tomorrow. I didn't hear the rest of it.
Well, to have Shannon, Worthen here to have everything up to date.
Again,
He had surgery?
today. Yes. He had to get it done before the end of the year, and he didn't think we'll be still in December. And he kept pushing it off until December. But anyway, your motion is to have a meeting for tomorrow.
Well, okay, wait a minute, I'm gonna withdraw that, and what I'm gonna do is that we, Brian Lester read all of those items that are being added to the budget. We need to pass the budget tonight. and we need to stay here until we do it.
Point of
Thank you.
order, the budget failed. This is out of order.
No, it is not.
The budget failed.
JP Madison, what's your comment?
The budget failed. I don't know how we're
Okay.
continuing to talk about it.
JP Harbison.
Are you asking me a question?
Did
We'd
you have a
rather-
comment?
Motion.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we stay until we have a budget passed tonight.
We have a motion on the floor to continue that we get a budget pass. Is there a second?
Is that, Mr. Lester, can you rule on voting failed agenda item? Can we revisit it within the same meeting?
Yeah, you can revisit it if someone in the, that voted in the negative, someone that voted
Correct.
against passage the budget can bring back up the question or the motion.
Okay. So on the floor, it would be if somebody voted in the negative, would like to change their vote or bring it up, then they can, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lester. Thank you, Judge.
We have a motion to, and is that JP Hires? You have a comment or are you doing a second? JP Hires? You mean-
I just had a question, comment,
Go ahead.
if that's appropriate.
Go ahead.
I would just like to perhaps recommend that we get the information that we have all been seeking in a form that we can all look at in order to be able to have the necessary tools to be able to pass this budget. I think that might be very helpful.
Give me a comment.
Go ahead, Counselor.
So the issue is you have made some changes to the 2020 budget, but you have not yet voted as a body to pass those changes on to the 2021 budget. Therefore, the budget has not been updated or amended because you have not as a body voted to amend and update the 2021 budget. Making those changes without you amending that would be incorrect procedurally because you are the ones that control that. So in order to update the 2021 budget to reflect all the changes that have happened since the budget has been presented to you, which is from JSAP, Finance and Budget, and Quorum Court, then you would need to vote as a body to update the budget to include those amendments for 2021.
Mr. Judge, I'd like to make a motion to amend the 2021 budget to include the amendments to the 2020 budget. Is that correct?
So there's a motion to amend the 2020 budget,
Would that be
the
a
2021 budget with those amendments for the 2021. Did I say that correct?
To include the 2021 changes.
Changes. Okay. so
2020 changes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Judge,
We have a motion and a second. JP Madison and then JP Washington.
the budget failed. We can't amend an ordinance that failed.
This is separate.
I mean, we need to move on to committee reports.
This
I don't
is
know
a-
how we
this is-
amend something that failed. No, change their mind, and that doesn't apply to JP Ecke. So the motion is out of order.
That would be true. That would be correct.
Committee reports.
Can I
Who's talking?
make a suggestion? I know what Mr.
No, it's out of order. It's not a motion. It's out of order.
staff
Is it a
prior to
motion?
saying
It's not a
is,
motion.
can't
It's out of
somebody better
order.
outline for us
Is it a
what
motion?
the
Who was
changes
talking? I don't know
were
who's
being
talking.
asked
I don't know either. Who's
Why am I
talking?
the only one out of order? I'll give up.
Who's making the motion?
No one.
Okay. All right, so we move on to item
Judge,
25.
when will you call the next Quorum Court meeting? We have to have a budget.
Item 25, committee reports, JP Jenkins.
We did not meet.
JP Harbison.
Well, we met, didn't pass the budget on, so I put it on the court for tonight. We've, finance and budget met Tuesday, December the 8th. There were reports by the treasurer, employees, insurance, and controller. The committee approved 5 ordinances. During the budget review, the committee discussed the Elkins District Court, Road Department, and ordinances establishing the Washington County annual budget. The committee approved the Elkins District Court request and the Road Department. The ordinance establishing the Washington County annual budget failed, but I put it on the agenda for tonight. And the ball's in your court, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you, JP Harbison. Jails and law enforcement, JP Johnson.
We didn't meet, sir.
And JP Pond, personnel.
Did not meet.
All right, item 26, I have a motion. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Sure, Judge, may I make one more comment?
Is that a motion? I need a motion to adjourn.
No.
We have a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn. Washington County Quorum Court is now adjourned. Good evening.